Welcome back to Tech Tech. I'm Adam Housley in Los Angeles, where news and technology collide. You know there's a big battle, of course, over smartphones. You have everything from the iOS operating system to the latest Samsung Galaxy or whatever you might use. BlackBerry may be going away, but right now the fastest growing smartphone company in the U.S. is ZTE Wireless. And joining us now is Wayman Lamb. He is the Senior Director of ZTE Wireless to talk about this. And people might be surprised, Wayman, that this company is growing so fast. Tell us why you guys are making such a move.
Well, thanks for having me here, first of all. So ZTE has been in the U.S. for the past 15 years. Many of the people might not have heard of the ZTE name, but we are slowly and gradually making people aware of this brand. As recent as October, we actually launched a partnership with Houston Rockets to promote our brand, and we've been in the U.S. for a number of years, working with the carriers and selling our handsets, mostly Android devices, with different carriers, almost all of the carriers in the United States. And if you go to our website, we actually have about 42 active SKUs or handsets or devices that are selling right now. And then we're going to introduce an additional 10 devices in the fourth quarter. So we are really, we're really spending a lot of time and making sure that people are really aware of the ZTE brand in the U.S.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because a friend of mine mentioned ZTE a while back, and I said, you know, I'd heard of you guys, but I didn't realize the move you're making. You talked about how many handsets you have. I mean, that's a significant number. You know, you talk about iPhones or Samsungs, and they have a couple each. But you guys have a pretty wide variety. Is that, and so availability and choice along with price point, is that what makes you guys different?
So we have a variety of devices from first-time smartphone users to the middle tier to the high end, and as recent as October we launched 2 unlocked devices, which I have right here. One is the we call it the Grand S, and the other one is the Nubia 5. And these 2 are unlocked devices running on Android, 5-inch Full HD quad-core processors with extremely good cameras, especially this one here, the Nubia 5. So we are, so we have a breadth of products, not just for the entry level or the first-time smartphone users. People that are looking for to upgrade their smartphones to a higher-end specification. These are the 2 perfect devices that we have, and we will be bringing more devices like these in the future.
We're showing them on our screen right now. I was surprised that ZTE was the fourth in market share, I should say, in the U.S. when it came to devices. That surprised me a bit. You talk about the Grand S and the Nubia. I mean, how do you? Because again, all the coverage, all the glam and circumstance and pomp, all that generally revolves around the new iPhone or the new Samsung. But you guys have obviously been very successful by avoiding that whole, getting caught up in that whole wave of emotion and just being solid throughout. And I'm looking at the specs on the phones, and I got to say the specs are pretty impressive. I mean, for example, you mentioned the Grand S, 13 megapixel camera with face recognition, anti-shake, HDR mode, 5-inch display. The Nubia 5 you mentioned as well. The 13 megapixel with Konica Minolta lens, stabilization as well. 5-inch screen, weighs only 4.5 ounces, runs Android Jelly Bean. I mean, those are some pretty impressive specs to go along with those phones. So I guess, are you guys successful not only because you have the number of phones, the price of phones, but you stay out of the whole battle between Samsung and Apple?
Yeah, so the way we look at them, we have a very different approach. We believe by working directly with the carriers, listening to the requirements, spending a lot of effort in understanding the requirements and working with them to develop a handsets that meet their needs versus maybe spending a lot of advertising dollars on TVs or things like that. So we believe in our strategy, which is working with the carriers and have the carriers introduce the ZTE handsets through the end consumers. And we've been very successful in doing that for the past few years. And we're going to continue to do that, working with the carriers and introduce additional devices. But at the same time, we want to be able to raise our brand awareness, and that's why we're introducing these 2 new devices through Amazon.com and Walmart.com. And as recent as this week, actually, you can get these in BestBuy.com as well. So this is just a way of us introducing additional handsets, higher-end handsets to the public markets in the U.S. And we're not going to deviate from the strategies with the carrier. We're going to continue to do that, but we are just expanding our strategies.
Right. And so my last question for you is: you mentioned the units. So are you guys providing airtime as well, or are these units working with carriers?
These two particular ones, it's unlocked devices. It works with the GSM-based carrier. So, for example, AT&T or T-Mobile or all the MVNOs that are on the AT&T and T-Mobile network. It can be used on all those networks.
So these phones are basically available for people to buy separately. Let's say they break their Samsung or their iPhone. They can go online, find a fantastic phone, unlocked for a fair price, and then use that for T-Mobile or Verizon or whoever they happen to want to put that phone towards.
Sure, absolutely. And if you look at the U.S. trend, a lot more people are opting out for contracts. One of the reasons is that they don't want to have that commitment of committing to a 2-year contract. So that's why more and more people are looking for a good device at the same time don't want a contract. And these two devices that I'm carrying with me are the perfect products that they can choose in the marketplace.
Right. All right. Wayman Lamb, Director of Wireless at ZTE USA. In fact, you can find out more about the products on the ZTE USA website. They have all the phones on there. You can check out the new phones that are out now and maybe make your choice that way. We appreciate you joining us from the Dallas Bureau, Wayman, and good luck with the coming year and all the different handsets you guys have. We look forward to following your guys' success.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you for having me.